SpongeBob is an iconic series that has not hesitated to show off color scenes, but rarely have they been too disturbing for TV. There are scenes that were deleted for no apparent reason, but there are also many scenes that have been removed for not meeting Nickelodeon standards, and there are some that were only left as storyboard ideas. In this video, we will see 20 scenes that were eliminated from the series. We all know the intro of the series, it is quite recognizable. However, this was not the first one, because the original intro that the series would have was this one.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
In this intro we can see a theme quite different from the one we know today. Supposedly there would be an announcer that would say, SpongeBoy, which was the original title of the series. There is even a storyboard of the same intro that was discarded, where we can see Gary eating a cactus. In the episode Procrastination, this scene was eliminated, for supposedly having a double meaning. In the same scene, SpongeBob imagines himself with his driver's license, but a crash is shown, which was removed, because they wanted to avoid that some child would imitate it. In the Artist Unknown episode, Squidward shows his painting, which he calls bold and brash. However, it was going to have a completely different design, resembling more a fish. In the episode Dying for Pie, Squidward thinks that it is the last day with life of SpongeBob, so he decides to make him happy. In one of the sequences, SpongeBob practices surgery.
Are you sure you should be poking it like that?
Who's the doctor here?
Here was eliminated a scene where SpongeBob would try to cover the blood. In addition to this, a scene where SpongeBob introduces Squidward to an office worker was also deleted. In the episode Life of Crime, SpongeBob and Patrick borrow a balloon. Here is a deleted scene where they play with the balloon near sharp objects, to end up getting hurt, but with the balloon intact. In the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2, many scenes were eliminated. For example, in one of them the judges eat the statues of the heroes. In other scene, we can see how SpongeBob causes a flood by removing the cork from a water dam. Also deleted was a scene where they try to stop a thief with a water attack, but SpongeBob ends up absorbing it, letting the thief escape. The last deleted storyboard shows how Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have a device to close doors, so SpongeBob uses it, and ends up breaking a window by accident, and they leave the place. In the episode Scaredy Pants, SpongeBob tries to prove that he can scare the inhabitants of Bikini Bottom, so he ends up shaving part of his face with the help of Patrick. The result is a little disturbing. In this episode, a scene in which we can see a close-up, showing more detail of the appearance of SpongeBob, was eliminated. In the episode Graveyard Shift, was removed a storyboard in which there was a scene where SpongeBob lifts the floor to deliver the mail to a certain floorboard Larry. Also, originally this character would be the one to turn off the lights and not Nosferatu. In the episode Jellyfish Hunter, Mr. Krabs asks SpongeBob to catch jellyfish. While he asks for more and more, there would be a scene where we can see Mr. Krabs looking more and more bizarre. In the episode Just One Bite, Squidward realizes that he loves Krabby Patty, so he decides to sneak into the Krusty Krab to be able to eat more. Here was deleted a scene where when opening the door a bucket of gasoline falls on his head. Then a match catches fire and causes an explosion. Vincent Waller, the showrunner of the series, confirmed that this scene was deleted at Nickelodeon's request. In the episode Snowball Effect, Squidward has a snowball battle against SpongeBob and Patrick. Here was removed a scene where we can see Squidward in what looks like a torture room made of snow. The background was even made, but it was also discarded, probably because it was too graphic and violent. In the episode Rockabye Bivalve, SpongeBob and Patrick are engaged in raising a clam. Here there was a scene that was eliminated. They gargle and spit into Junior's mouth to feed him. It was probably deleted because it was a bit unpleasant to watch. The episode New Student Starfish shows Roger, a chick that hatched from the egg that SpongeBob and Patrick took care of. Roger's design is based on a real chick. But originally he was going to have an animated design. In the storyboard you can see the design, but there are also model sheets that show more detail of the original design. In the episode Clams, Mr. Krabs gets his millionth dollar. In the final episode he celebrates, quite happy to have gotten it, but the storyboard shows us that he was planned to call his parents on the phone, straight to the Bikini Bottom Cemetery, just to show us their graves. This was ruled out for continuity, as both characters would appear in later chapters. The episode Plankton's Army originally would have a different outcome. In the storyboard is shown as the Plankton family enters the Krusty Krab and begin to attack Squidward and customers, generating a great chaos. It's not considered a very violent scene, so it's unknown why it was discarded. The episode Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy has a particular plot, as Sandy takes off her fur, as if it were clothes. However, the original design was changed for being too creepy. Originally she was going to appear completely naked, but it was changed to be less grotesque, and giving her underwear in the process. Other scenes from the storyboard were removed. One shows Sandy covering herself with a construction cone, but after causing an accident, a worker blames her as a thief in front of the police, so she escapes. Another scene shows a live news broadcast, filming a report on the Sasquatch. Sandy is filmed naked hiding, and the reporter mistakes her for the monster. In more recent episodes, scenes have also been removed, as is the case in the episode SpongeBob in Randomland, where the famous Squidward scene from the creepypasta Red Mist appears. Originally the scene was a little different. The face would approach slowly instead of appearing abruptly, and Squidward would close the door. After the episode premiere, this scene was removed, and replaced by one where we can see a baby Squidward. In the episode Larry's Gym, as the title suggests, Larry opens a gym with the goal of getting everyone in shape. Upon opening his gym, a fish offers him donuts, to which he refuses, but in the original storyboard, Larry says that the only thing worse than donuts is ground glass, and then smashes a glass cup into the fish mouth. Interestingly, the scene of the fish getting dizzy afterwards still occurs in the final episode, despite not making much sense.
Do not bring those in here! In the meantime, enjoy yourself.
In the Drive Happy episode, some scenes ended up being different. For example, the part where Squidward wipes his memory is very different. In the storyboard, he throws it on the stand of a man who cuts food. Squidward's brain is sliced and fried, then he throws the crumbs on his head. Another scene that was deleted occurs near the end of the episode. In this one, Squidward would laugh in a sadistic and maniacal manner in front of SpongeBob. The episode The Legend of Bikini Bottom is quite special, as it was produced in stop motion, a very unique animation technique. The plot of the episode is that the Flying Dutchman wants to make sure SpongeBob and his friends are scared on Halloween. In this episode, scenes like this one were deleted, where we can see how some kind of zombie-like monster grabs SpongeBob and Patrick and locks them in his coffin. But the scene that by far gets the most attention is this one, where we can see how it seems that Krabby Patty is made of fish. The image is quite detailed and most likely was discarded for being too violent for children.